I think it's gonna work. Awesome. Okay. So, hello everyone. Anybody that's tuning in right now, as you've probably learned from the announcements and stuff that have been sent out, I am Dillon, Me Llamo Big D, and I'm going to be the first in hopefully a series of coaches that are going to be looking to help out the general risen public and just helping out people that are looking to improve. I am a former Challenger player. A little tilt spree kind of took me out of Challenger, but it's okay. I'll still finish in Challenger. Hopefully, that's the goal. So, yeah. Hey,
I believe in you.
thank you, thank you. But yeah, enough about me. Tommy, you want to talk a little bit about yourself before we get into it?
Yeah. I'm kind of a longtime member of Risen. I've been here around since the middle of season two. I played my first Risen season in season three, and I'm currently gold 391 LP. I've been kind of hard stuck
Hey.
in gold for about almost 900 games.
Oh
So
man, the
we're
perfect
here to
first subject.
we're here for the I just got to get the bad stuff out of the way, so
Yeah,
that
yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So, are there any general overarching questions that you want to talk about before we get into either of the two replays, or do you want to just kind of jump into them and go as we go?
we can just jump into them for now, and
Okay. And also, general thing for anybody watching, apologies for any background noise you hear. I'm in the the varsity room, as you could maybe tell from the background. I don't know how much is visible. Yeah, yeah, there's the Red Hawk symbol there. So yeah, I'm in the varsity room right now. So there's actually my League of Legends teammates are playing near me, and some of them get a little loud sometimes. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into the first VOD. I think this is the Kane one, if I remember correctly. Let me make sure that I get this looking
this
okay
is the
on the
Sejuani
stream.
one.
Oh, yeah, okay, this one, the
Yeah.
Sejuani one. Awesome. Okay, yeah. So let me know, people in the Twitch chat, if I got this up on the stream okay. Is that the Miami Universe? Yeah, yeah, it is. It's the League of Legends team. Everyone's here but my ADC, who doesn't really play here. All right. So first things first is you always one of the most important things that I think a lot of people don't think about, but I also think I'm pretty sure a lot of Risen people do think about because pretty much a lot of people in Risen are really knowledgeable and smart.
Hmm.
One thing you want to do before you go into any game, regardless of what role, regardless of what champion, is you want to look at your team comp and the enemy team comp, and you want to try and figure out what each team wants to do. And I think
Hmm.
that is probably most important as a jungler because you're not only responsible for your lane, right? Like if you're a mid laner,
Yeah.
you just need to know how the mid matchup goes. Maybe you need to know what the jungler does. Maybe you need to know, if their support can roam or things like that. But as a jungler, you need to know how every single lane goes. You need to know who wins top, who wins mid, who wins bot. You need to know how you interact with the enemy jungler. You need to know just so many things that it's probably the most knowledge intensive role that there is. And so one of the biggest parts of that is going into the game with the right mindset, with the right tools.
Hmm.
And so, for example, in this game, first I like looking at my team comp because obviously, in my opinion, I think it's more important to know how your team wins rather than how the enemy team wins.
I would agree.
Touching on what you just said, Trevi, would you identify volatile lanes as a part of that? I think that is probably the most important part of that as a jungler. So if you can look at a lane and determine this lane is incredibly volatile, it swings one way or the other dependent on a gank, dependent on who loses flash, dependent on a solo kill, if you lose tower plates, things like that, can
Hmm.
determine how an early game plays out, how a mid game plays out. Um, yeah, there's no real volatile lanes in this game. So this isn't a game where I can really touch on a volatile matchup and how you treat that. But in general, yes, Travi, volatile lanes is probably the most important concept to grasp as a jungler. When you're looking at pregame things.
I think that might be one of my biggest issues. That I don't have enough knowledge of lane matchups.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
and one thing that helps that is so obviously one thing that helps that, and this is kind of it might sound stupid, but just like playing other lanes, even if it's in normals and things like that, and like trying to
Hmm.
understand like what champions do, right? So it's really hard to know what a champion does and what a champion wants to do without having like ever touched that champion. So like you can't know like how Irelia wants the game to go unless like you have at least some experience on Irelia or like with an
Yeah.
Irelia or like things like that. And so like it's easiest to learn by like playing the champion themselves and like
Hmm.
if you lose, why'd you lose? If you win, why'd you win? But like honestly another way you could do it is just like talking to people, right? Like if you
Hmm.
go on like Summoner School or you go in the Risen Discord or you go anywhere else, um, you can learn so much about how champions want to win, and so like that's a good way of kind of learning how matchups go. Yeah, so kind of touching on your team. Starting off in the top lane, you have Mordekaiser versus Scion. That is a pretty snooze fest lane. Like that lane, setting a Scion behind does nothing. So one thing that I've learned that I think is like
Hmm.
actually really invaluable is you want to look at who you want to set ahead on your team, but you also want to look at who you want to set behind on the other team.
I don't think I look at that enough. I think that's another issue that
Yeah.
I'm gonna write down here.
So, like for example, setting behind a Kassadin is incredibly important because Kassadin scales so well off of levels, off of gold, off of like being on the winning team that it's unreal. But like Scion, with the way that like tank items are, with the way that tanks just function in League of Legends, it does not matter if he's 3,000 gold behind on the enemy laner. Like that does not matter come team fight because Scion will still do what Scion does. He will still ult in. He will still be a frontline tank. He will still have CC,
Hmm.
and it like so in matchups like that where there's really no point in getting your lane ahead or setting the enemy lane behind, uh, what I like to do is maybe gank once or twice in the early game, like while they're still easy to kill, to get yourself ahead. That's how I view it. Obviously, you're playing Sejuani, so it's not really that important to get yourself ahead,
Yeah.
but just get like your team's tempo ahead, right? Like if you get the
Hmm.
Mordekaiser or a Killer 2 under his belt, if Sion loses Flash, he has to play safer, things like that. But like besides that, I mean, there's not really much of a point in ganking top lane. So, like, if I was going into this game as Sejuani, I'd maybe look for a level 3 gank because Mordekaiser's got the pull, you've got the stun, you're both melee to stack Sejuani's passive. But besides that, I'd pretty much leave top lane alone. Um, Mid lane, that is probably where I'd spend the most time. And the reason being is Irelia took Ignite, Kassadin took Ignite, and Irelia pre-6 has a lot of gank setup onto a Kassadin, especially if he
Hmm.
loses Flash. So Irelia Sejuani, I'm not really sure if after the Sejuani nerfs this is true, but at one point it was like the go-to 2v2 combo for like either jungle mid or jungle top. Like now it's probably Sejuani, or now it's probably Talia Renekton or like Elise Renekton or Elise
Yeah.
Kled, things like that. But
The
like
yeah. The,
with
sorry.
no. With the way the stuns like stack up with Irelia Sejuani, like you have Irelia E, you have Sejuani passive, you know, things like it's just it's unreal the gank pressure you have, and especially onto a Kassadin pre-6. Like if he ever burns flash, he just dies. So that's probably
Yeah.
where I'd look to spend the most time in this early game.
Okay.
And then looking at bot lane, I mean, it's really hard to gank a Morgana with Spell Shield and a Sivir with Spell Shield because if they play that right, it's almost unkillable, right? Like, they need to massively misuse their spells, and they also need to, like, be super far pushed up, right? Like, there's no way you could ever dive them. And on top of that, there's, like, not that much damage coming from your side. Like, Sejuani's not going to pump out damage. Ash in the early game can deal some, but again, you need like to really auto attack a bunch. It's not like a Draven or something that can just like half health someone. And like Thresh against Morgana Sivir can't really do anything.
Yeah, if I
Um,
remember right, this Ash kind of ran it down. I think he
yeah.
did it like 14 times, but
Ooh, that is tough. We'll get into that. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, so that's some of like my thoughts just going into it, right? So like
hmm.
you got to think about how the lane matchups will play out. So bot lane is kind of like a snooze fest that in theory should be like a farm fest.
Yeah.
Neither side should really look to do anything because they can't. Like, unless Ashe gets binded or Thresh lands a Miracle Hook, nothing's going to happen in bot lane if both teams play well. Mid lane is where the most action happens. Irelia could solo kill, you could gank for Irelia to kill Kassadin, things like that. Like, that's basically what I'd be looking at going into the early game here. Okay, so kind of getting a little bit into the actual game itself. Let's get this camera on you, and we'll speed up through the early parts. What your team is doing is okay. One thing I like to do, and this is just like a little thing that I've learned to do through like playing competitive because I've seen it happen a lot to me. So it's nice to like have like a spread out 5-point, but honestly you don't need it to do that. So with the move speed you get coming out of base, if you run, I wish I had like the LS draw thing, but I'll do my best. One thing you could do is you kind of like take this path and you go through this base gate and you run down here and like above Raptors and you ward here. So if you ward here, you just back off. You'd spot Scion, you'd kind of scare him away. I wonder if Scion gets like a deep ward on you. He kind of just walks in.
Then I think that as I do start red, and we just kind of hit him a few times and push him off.
Okay. Yeah, so like this isn't like if Scion had a team here, like this could be really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if Scion had his top and mid here, like I mean, I guess not with a Kassadin. But like in theory, like letting the enemy get into your red side jungle for free, like you can get heavily punished for that. Ooh, Epic Pen. That's a good shout out. I might actually look into getting that for drawing things on the screen. Yeah, so one thing I like to do is ward this bush. You get there in about like 30 seconds. You ward the bush, you walk back, you recall in here, and you grab a red trinket, like a sweeper.
Yeah.
And then you just walk down here. So your sweeper will be up by the time you look for a level 3 gank, and you get the bonus of actually having a ward out on the map. It's just a little thing. You can do it on any jungler. On some junglers, you like to just start straight up sweeper, but yeah, I think that it's a good thing to do. It kind of disallows like cheese from happening in your top side, especially if you want to start top side. Okay, yeah, so I think, so looking at the buff that you start this game, do you know why you started red buff? Like, do you remember what your thought process was?
Yeah, so my thought process in the beginning was I picked Sedge in the first place because I had melee solo laners, and that was,
Okay.
you know, just for that synergy with the passive, but also, like, I started red in the Winter Krugs because I wanted to make sure that I stayed on the side of my solo laner so that I could gank them early on.
Okay.
Was my thought process when I...
So after, okay, so yeah, you do walk up here. That is a really ingenious path. I really like that. So there's kind of two ways you could have gone about it, and the way that you went about it is perfectly fine. You could either look to start blue buff, clear your bot side camps, grab red, and then go top, or you can look to full clear red side jungle and then go gank top. And the reason I like what you did actually more than what I was originally thinking is because if you take a look at the enemy jungle, Qiyana, she falls incredibly low during her clear. As we can see, she's sitting at 100 health with no smite, so she's literally about to die. The fact that, so like, if you're up against like an Olaf, like a Karthus, something that can actually like clear fast, clear relatively healthily, things like that, like a Kayn maybe, they could just walk to your blue and take like blue romp and call it a day. Like, sure, their top laner dies, but you lose like half your bot side, if not more. I like it against Qiyana though, because you know that she can't invade. So if you're up against a champion that is like a really weak clear, like a really weak early few levels in the jungle, I actually really like this path. It's a little on like the greedier side, but I think in like the right game, it actually hardcore pays off for you, right? Because Mordekaiser gets a back off here, and he theoretically can like kind of freeze this. I guess he can't freeze it with the TP coming in, but he's a little wave and a good. Wait, he's TP'd in like at like 10 health. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I really do like that first gank.
Yeah, I should have paid attention here. Now that I'm watching this, I should have just gone back top for another gank.
I do think so. Sion didn't
Yeah,
use Flash, so I think the best you get out of a gank here is probably getting Sion's Flash, but I do think that's actually a good idea. That's a really good call. Um,
yeah.
Going for repeat ganks like that is the easiest way to just blow open a game. So one thing that I really like to do, and this is because I play like aggressive junglers a lot of the times that can dive, like Elise, like
Hmm.
Talia, like things like that. One thing I like to do is if I'm ganking top, so I go top, I kill the top laner. He TP's back, I kill him again, and then the wave crashes under his tower here, and then
These
I'm
minions are
here
all have
and
like
we
the
and
minions.
we dive him. So
Yeah,
like you literally you can kill him like 3 times in like a minute, minute and a half, and like there are some games where like if that happens, the game is like actually like over, right? Like assuming your
yeah.
other lanes aren't behind, like the game is over. But yeah, like ganking top here would be okay. I don't think you kill Sion
I don't think
necessarily,
so either.
but I think you probably can get his flash. And since you saw Kiana so low here, I don't think
I
you'd
didn't
lose
see
your.
her.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah, because
like,
she hit the vision, and
oh,
then
you're right. You're right.
I didn't see her, but she saw me. I didn't know how healthy she was,
You're
so I
right.
just
You're right.
didn't
That's a good
walk
call.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's a good call.
and I go
One,
back up here, I guess.
yeah, I don't feel like Sion's gonna have to flash, but he might. He might just panic flash.
Yeah, no, he's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's said. I think that's a kill. Oh,
Oh,
I was gonna say I think that's a kill if Mord's grab was up, and I guess it was, and he just didn't want to use it until the end there. But yay, nice. Actually, getting a kill out of that is so good. Sion is super greedy with his flash, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Mid is so gankable this game, like it's actually disgusting. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Let me actually slow this down a lot going into this.
I
So, no, no, no. What were you gonna say? What's
Well, I was
up?
gonna say that the screen share is kind of laggy for me right now.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm not laggy, but it's just like a bit blurry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a
Uh,
big deal.
okay. Can you still like relatively see what's going on?
Yeah, sort
Okay.
of.
I wonder if it's like my internet connection pooping out. Um, Going for a gank here mid though is actually like a really smart idea. So like the only downside to it is that the wave is like really stacked, right? So like if this goes wrong, like if Irelia dies, like she misses quite a bit. But
Hmm.
Kassadin walking forward to clear this wave under tower is like the go button that you need to like walk up on him, because the worst that happens here is like you commit a little time and you get his flash. But like you and Irelia both played it well, and you got both of Kassadin's summoners. Kiana comes in now, and there's not really anything you can do about that. That's just kind of the price you have to pay.
Yeah,
So one important thing after ganking, especially in like mid and top, is looking at the wave and trying to determine what's going to happen with it. So like if neither laner has TP, right? So this lane is going to stay in like an untouched state for like 20, 25 seconds. And if you look at it,
yeah.
so let's go right after the kill happens. Okay. So the kill
I'm gonna be
happens
real
there.
with the resolution. The minions just look like blobs.
Okay.
Like it's so bad.
That's sad. I wonder if the stream looks like that. I guess it's just the screen share, which is a
Yeah.
shame. Here, let me check if there's a way. I'm gonna try stopping my screen share and then turning it
Your
back
stream
on.
looks great. I have it on mute on the.
It's just
Yeah,
we're
we're in a call,
we're in a
best friend.
private call together, best friend, because for some reason the the live streaming in the Risen Discord, it wasn't working with how you set up like league
Oh wait, no,
replays.
there's like a special way. I just remembered. There's like a certain way that you can like screen share in like a call, like as if you're in a private call, but it's in a server. I don't know how you do it though.
Yeah. Yeah, Trevi, when we were sitting in a Risen call together, like a duo call, it just wouldn't show the game for some reason. It said unknown game. I think it's because like I'm watching a replay through like a weird client instead of the actual Riot Games client. I can try to turn off screen share and then turn it back on. The old timeless trick. Stop sharing your screen. Are you Nitro Boost? No, sir, I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna try pressing the Stream League of Legends button, and let me know if that works. Can you see it? Like in the
Can I
call?
see it? Yeah, I
It
can see it. Yeah.
You can see it in the call, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So let me know if that works. Okay. So, going back into this. So looking at this wave right after the kill happens. So Kiana walks away, you walk away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Let me real quick actually open up the scoreboard just because I want that there. Um, so, if you take a look at this minion wave here, the biggest thing to tell if a wave is going to push, if a wave is going to freeze, things like that, is looking at like the amount of minions in a wave. And
Mm-hmm.
that is probably like one of the most important things in determining what to do after a gank. Whether you want to shove, whether you want to freeze, whether you want to even touch the wave or not. And in this situation, you made the right call not touching the wave. And do you have any idea why you think that's the right call by not touching this wave?
Because it's already shoving back into Aurelia because
Yeah,
he has more minions.
yeah,
At least Caston has more minions.
they have like so melee
Like three more,
minions.
like two or three more.
Yeah, melee minions are the more important part in like determining what's going to shove,
Mm-hmm.
because like they tank more and things like that. But like yeah, so this red melee will die, and then they'll walk forward, and then the wave is going to kind of freeze like right here by the time the laners come back. It's going to freeze like right in between these two walls. And so what you want to do as a jungler is you want to think in your head, how can you use that to your advantage? And let me tell you, a Kassadin with no flash pre-6, especially one that rushes tier, like, he is a sitting duck in the mid lane. And this is like ripe to exploit. So what I would do if I were you is I would take note of the minion wave. I would leave it, and then I would probably just do like Wolves Blue and just go right back to mid. I would just do like 2 camps on my bot side, and then just head right back to mid through the bottom side of mid. Because
Yeah.
it's safe to assume Kassadin's not going to get a ward down in time, right? Like, I think especially in gold, like, no laner is going to stay off the map, ward, and then go back into lane, right? They're going to walk into lane, shove the minions, and then ward after.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely a timing window to try and exploit that. Okay, yeah, so Kassadin dropped a ward bot side mid. So that is something to note. And yeah, the wave is freezing roughly where I thought it would. I think Irelia has been queuing a couple of low health minions. But yeah, I think she also realizes that this is going to freeze here. So like this pink ward kind of makes it a little rough to go for this gank. I still think it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with like how strong Irelia Sejuani is and the stacking of stuns and like the gap closers and things like that. Your top dying kind of stinks here. He's not really doing... He's not really in a great spot with how the wave is. But yeah, so looking mid here and like going over... So one thing...
Yeah.
How do I want to put this? So like your bot lane
Yeah,
fighting
I just
here...
kind of felt like I didn't know what to do at this point. Like I
Yeah.
kind of hovered.
So like this happens a lot. Where like it's really hard to actually know what to do in a game because... Like, it's one thing to have a game plan going into a game, but it's another thing, like, when that game plan goes, like, completely awry, right? Like, playing towards mid, playing towards, like, early top, it in theory works really well, but in practice, like, there are going to be games where your bot lane just dies, right? And, like, you're going to have to try and alter your strategy. In this game, I really probably wouldn't worry that much. Maybe when Ashe gets 6, you could look bottom, but before then, like, there's not really like that much you could do, even with flashes down, just because of the way that spell shields work. So honestly, I think like this is the kind of game where you just accept like bot is probably doomed, and like you just want to play around mid and top, and then like when you play around mid and top, you want to look for like that early Rift Herald because Rift Herald is super strong, especially if you can get it when plates are still up, because then it's just like a free, 320/480 gold for your team, depending on the health of the tower you're using it on. But yeah, right here I'd probably just try and look for a mid gank, which it looks like you're doing. Sort of. Taking Raptors is not bad either. Getting a deep ward like that, wards like that are like super invaluable. Like I don't see a lot of people placing wards like that, but this kind of ward can track where Talia is a lot because like if you see her coming from down by red buff up, then like you know she's topside. If you see her going down like this and going down more, you know she's spot side. So like even if you don't know exactly where she is, you know like what side of the map she is, and like theoretically you could play accordingly, or your laners could.
Yeah, usually I wouldn't place a ward there since I was taking a camp.
Yeah. Like, that's a good ward to go for, like, especially when you're on a champ like Kayn, like your main, like, because you have your E and your Q, and you're, like, so slippery and hard to kill that, like, getting deep vision like that is really invaluable because it helps, like, guide how you're going to play out the game. So, let me pan this camera over a little bit. And being nearby for this counter gank is super good. So, like, even if theoretically, like, do you remember, I kind of doubt it because the game was probably played, like, quite a bit ago.
Yeah,
Do you remember, like,
it's like last week.
if you were thinking about, like, Myrelly is going to get ganked? Or, like, was it just kind of like a case of, like, right place, right time, like...
Well, it was like I meant to be there in case she was gonna get ganked.
Yeah.
That was the reason why I was
Okay.
like there and I placed that ward and like I was thinking about that sort of,
Yeah.
but I don't think that I was like, oh, she's gonna get ganked. That wasn't like a game sense thing. That was just like in case she got ganked.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So, like, one thing that is really good to keep in mind is, like, when you're... So, Irelia kind of broke the freeze that she had set up here, and she's now, like, slow pushing the wave into Kassadin. So she's going for an aggressive trade because she knows that she just, like, dunks on Kassadin in the early game. And so, one thing that you can do is when you see the wave stacking like this, and when you see Irelia trading really aggressively, that is like a telltale sign that the enemy jungler is nearby. That the enemy jungler is going to be coming. Because, like, a jungler sees a half-health Irelia, no flash, and this is just, like, the world's biggest bait. You know, like, Kiana is loving the sight of this right now. And, like, she dashes in, and, like, you are in the perfect spot to counter gank this, right? Especially with this warded. Like, if you were sitting in there, they'd know, and, like, they'd just call it off and nothing would happen. But, like, that's a super good spot to be. So, like, accidental or not, like, that is... It's actually a really, really, really smart spot to be in. And, like, this is what I'm kind of saying about, like, bot is doomed. Like, they're just going to be shoved in under tower, poked down by Sivir Morgana, and there's really not much you could do. Like, you going bottom is not going to fix it. Okay, at this point, you've accumulated yourself a bounty, which is really nice. And Irelia getting that solo kill kind of even further plays into the fact that you should just be hardcore playing around mid-top. The only kind of rut in that plan is the fact that it kind of sucks that the first dragon's infernal.
It's infernal, yeah.
Yeah, like, if this was like an ocean, nah, maybe not, like an ocean or a cloud, then, like, I'd be way more inclined to just say, like, completely, like, screw bottom side, clear your top side camps, look to gank top, look to gank mid. But the first dragon being infernal makes it a little rough, because then it kind of adds, like, a wrench in your plan of what you want to do. And so probably, I think the best play for you to be looking to do is probably just walk up to Krugs, just clear vertically down your entire jungle, because your wolves will be respawning semi-soon. You've got completed Cinderhulk. You are incredibly strong right now. You pretty much just want to clear down towards there and just call your team to help you a dragon, right? Like, level 6 Kassadin that's behind is not really going to do anything compared to Irelia that's going to have, like, probably Sheen Phage, I'd imagine she goes. Maybe, like, Sheen Merc Treads. I don't know what her build will be. But, like, she's strong, especially when she has ult. Especially because you're going to have ult by the time you clear down there. So I would be kind of making that call to your team, because the top laner TPs are down, so that you don't have to take that into account. So it's basically a 4v4, and if you look at it, you're ahead of the Kiana, mid is ahead, and bot's not, like, that far behind. Like, it's not
yet.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. So, like, it's salvageable at this point. You just want to, like, be looking at, like, what your team does. And, like, your team uses Infernal relatively well, but it's also in big part, like, kind of trying to take it away from the other team.
Denying it.
Yeah. So, like, a Kassadin and, like, Kiana and Sivir with Infernal is pretty scary. Your bot lane's going for a little play down there. They just forced the Sivers flash. That's good. So, yeah, okay, they didn't ping it. So, one question I have, do you use the, like, F1, F2, F3, F4, those kind of keys?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I just forget to use them. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
So,
a lot of times. So when I am looking at not at myself, I don't like my spacebar locks and unlocks the camera. Like it doesn't like
uh,
that's how I
I
play.
see, I see. So it's just like it's like a toggle. It's not
Yeah, it's
like
like
a
a toggle.
it's
So
not like a
I'll press
hold
it to
down.
unlock it, then look by like move my mouse and look,
Okay, okay.
or like click on the mini map.
So like
That's kind of what I'm used
when a
to.
fight like that is happening in bot lane, like are you panning your camera down and like watching it as you're walking, like
I
most of the
wasn't.
time?
I probably wasn't. If I'm gonna be real.
So like one really important thing to do, especially when you're playing in lower ranks, one thing I've noticed
Hmm.
whenever I smurf or whenever I watch games, it's like people don't like communicate summoners, right? So like
Yeah.
I don't see it in chat yet, and I don't know if they typed it or anything, but like Sivir Flash there, and that's like a huge cooldown, right? Like that actually opens up the ability to gank bottom, like to force Infernal and force a Plandour, because like if
Hmm.
you can play around the double spell shield, he actually like there's a window to kill Sivir. There's like a real window too, especially like a no flash Sivir against a Fed Irelia. Like doesn't even matter that there's a spell shield that exists. Like Irelia can just auto her to death.
Yeah.
Um, so like that's one thing that like when you have teammates that aren't like super communicative, it's like it's important to try and like play around that by just like yourself trying to absorb as much knowledge as you can by like flickering around the map. And like at this point, your top laner is like naturally winning, partially because of like the way that you ganked top earlier,
Yeah.
and also partially because like that's just how the matchup is. Like Mordekaiser just kind of beats up on Sion in the early levels. Um, so like that kind of lane, you just don't really ever want to touch again. Like it's just naturally doing well, so you're doing a good job avoiding that. And this is a good gank in the mid lane. He has ult, but no flash still. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, he just has ult up again. It's like
Yeah. Wait.
the
Okay.
cooldown's so low even at rank 1.
Let me check your Irelia. So she, I think what I like, one like
She
little
didn't walk
thing.
up.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she didn't walk up, which is like I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if she Q's to that. Okay, she. I don't get it. She Q'd to the minion, and then like I think she could have just walked, and like if you ulted, she just closes the distance and just Q's onto him and you kill him.
Yeah, I didn't. I just was holding ult because I knew that he was gonna,
Yeah, you were, like knew that he was gonna R again. I don't know. I think like ulting would have been good if you saw Irelia walking forward more, but I think you made the right call not ulting because your
Mhm.
Irelia just didn't really feel like fighting with you. But like honestly,
Mhm.
that's okay. You kind of chunked out the Cassidon a little bit. Give Irelia a little bit of pressure. So like right now would be a really good time to know that Sivir's flash is down. Because going for this bot lane gank, I think you'd feel a lot more confident doing it if you
Yeah,
knew
I
that.
didn't feel confident doing it without Thresh there in lane though. Like I think I go for it, but I didn't.
I think. Oh wow, that Ash
Oh
arrow.
yeah. Oh, and I missed my Q. Oh, I'm so bad, dude. And I
Nice.
get it, but I had to use everything.
Let's see how this plays out, and then we can go back and look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's kind of review over this. So one thing is like, if you know Sivir's flash is down and she's autoing this tower as your Ash's ult, I would just instantly walk down. Like I wouldn't do the like trying to wait for Thresh thing because like having Thresh there is nice, but it's also Thresh into Morgana Sivir. Like he doesn't really add anything besides a lantern out if like things go bad. Your Ashe missing ult there stinks. Like
Yeah.
it makes the play a lot harder.
And then
But
me missing Q also really stinks.
Sivir burning Spell Shield here is like
Yeah.
pretty big. I think. Let's go back. I'm gonna play it at
I was
half
really hoping I
speed.
wouldn't have to use ult on Sivir there either. That was really unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, so Ash just like mistimes ult. I think as soon as the spell shield fades, I think right here you just instantly throw your R. And also Bestron brings up a good point. So I think part of this, let me bring it back. So if you know Sivir's flash is down, you don't have to Q to get in range of her.
Yeah.
So I think like Qing early is okay if you know her flash is up, because then like you can get her flash and stuff. But like right here, you just walk at Sivir, and you just auto her, because then like she probably burns her spell shield like trying to block your E, but then you have Q, then you have R. I don't think there's any real reason to try and use your Q to gap close there. But another thing as well, on top of that, is like when it comes down to the execution of this.
Yeah.
I think, let me get it to that point. So, right here, when you're on top of, and she burns her spell shield, I think you just instantly ult her. I think it's worth it, because if you ult Sivir right now and then you auto her and you kill her, Ashe lives probably, and if she does,
because I'll be on Morgana with her.
Yeah, so even if Ashe dies to this Morgana flash and stuff, Sivir's dead here, and you just turn on to Morgana and you just kill her because she just burned flash and all. So at worst, that plays a 2-for-1, and I think at best it's a 1-for-0, because I think Morgana probably just backs off if Ashe doesn't flash forward and get herself low. And I think the reason it's good there to like preemptively ult and just secure the kill is because if you get that kill, you shove this wave with your bot lane and you just get the Infernal for free. Like your mid has so much pressure right now. And so like it's a price to pay for sure, but I think it's definitely a worthy one, because you gain a lot off of getting that kill instantly without losing anything. Okay, let's bring the camera back to you. Yeah, so, I mean, at this point, you can pretty much just continue to ignore top lane itself. Mid dying there really stinks, because that shut down gold onto Qiyana.
Wait, I remember this game now. I remember what happened.
Oh boy, yeah?
Yeah, so Sion started running it down to our base and just started suiciding for towers, and he eventually ended the game that way.
Like legitimately just ulting.
Like legitimately just ulting down.
That's hilarious.
Placing ZZ Rot, and just because this game was like 43 minutes long. I just don't remember what happened.
Oh, that's cool that you could see.
Was that this game? Yeah, he died 17 times.
Wow.
I just don't remember that that's this game.
Yeah, your top. Okay, so when your top is winning this hard, I think. Okay, so let me bring it back a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see Qiyana running bot, like there's honestly nothing you could do about this play itself. Because that's an unlucky binding. If she dodged that, she would have lived.
Yeah.
I think the second you see your Ashe die there, you make like the call in your head of like they're going to go dragon off of that, right? Because like as soon as you see him walk up like this, like your ADC's dead, they're shoving in bot wave. Like the only reasonable play for them to do is get dragon, and so one really important thing about jungling and about like playing League of Legends in general and just macro is you always want to be looking at like, how can I like make an effective trade? Like this happened, you'll hear it called like cross map play. So like in like strong side, weak side. So like if your bot lane is like your weak side and the enemy's playing towards it, then you need to be playing that much towards your strong side, which is your top side of the map right now. And like some things that you can look to do right now, like in general, you could look to dive top, you could look to take the enemy top's jungle, you could look to maybe dive mid, or you could look to get Rift Herald. Any of those plays is viable. It just depends on the game stage, just depends on the champions, things like that. I wouldn't dive a Scion. and I wouldn't dive a Cassidon unless like it's like a very specific scenario where maybe he's like low or he doesn't have his ult or something. Um, so I wouldn't look to dive. So that
Yeah.
leaves looking for Herald and looking for enemy camps. And I don't think either is a bad choice right now, but I do think Herald is probably the better choice. Because if you know they're on Dragon, then you need to try trading Herald for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I didn't know they were on Dragon either. I don't think.
I think yeah, I'm just saying, like, theoretically, like, as soon as they kill your
Yeah.
bot lane and they go missing off the map, I think it's safe to
They're
assume they're on
probably
Dragon,
yeah.
or at least, like, walking towards it, or maybe they're walking mid, or like something. But they're not Herald is the key part there. Like, they're on the bottom side. And so I
Hmm.
think as soon as you see Sion die top, you just kind of, like, scrap this blue buff, and, like, if they steal it, they steal it. They probably won't, but, you can just look to walk Herald here. Like, I bet you probably get a good kill here. Nice. That's good. And, like, so, like, it pays off, like, because Kiana greeted for the scuttle instead of backing. But I
Hmm.
still do think, like, in terms of, like, a general
You're right.
macro sense, walking to Herald there, like, if you trade Herald for
Hmm.
Infernal, it sucks, but it's kind of like making the best out of a worse situation, because, like, you can't control that your bot lane dies there.
You're right.
Um, so I think you need to try like looking at like alternative ways of trying to snowball your lead. Um, Especially because like their team turns on hardcore late game. Right? So
Hmm.
this is the kind of game where like you want to try and be looking like how do I continue pushing my lead? How do I like further my advantage? And I think the biggest way to do that, especially in like the current meta now, is like heralding early and looking for plates with that. Like if you can get 5 plates on a tower,
Yeah.
it's such a massive gold swing. It's such a massive influx of gold and like map pressure, and you can like rotate around the map based off that.
This is a long game, so I don't know if you want to review the whole thing. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could just touch on like a lot of the early game aspects, and then as soon as it becomes like your Ashe died 14 times, then we can tune out of it and look at the other one a little
Sure.
bit. Um,
I just want to be like,
yeah, no
considerate
worries.
of your time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
let you sit here for 60 minutes or like reviewing a 40-minute game.
Pulled off that gank super well. That's actually really impressive. So I really like that. Waiting over this wall is actually super cheeky.
Like I just waited for him to use ult, and I
Ex-
queued over the wall and pressed ult.
exactly. I was about to say, is the second you saw him use ult, you queued over the wall and you ulted. That's actually super smart. That is a really well executed gank, and that's like the kind of gank that like you don't see a lot of people make because like they don't realize like there's a window of people will see like Cassidon and they'll think like I literally can't gank him. But like especially if a
Yeah.
Cassidon's ulting aggressively like that, there are slight windows and you punish that window really well. And you get rewarded. You probably get what, like 2 tower plates here?
Yeah, too.
Yeah, that's super good. And like Top's got 2 tower plates on his own, he's smashing Sion. Mid just lost 3 waves. Like your mid has 30 CS lead. So like this game, like although hard, is like certainly winnable because your team has a pretty okay gold lead right now. Like the
Hmm.
Infernal sucks, but I mean you do what you do with that. Um, okay, walking bot lane here. Let's see how it plays out, and then okay, yeah, I know. Like I think
Like I'm just so afraid to gank this. I don't trust them.
no, you're right, you're right, and like for good reason. One, like your Ashe has proven that she's bad. Like as harsh as that is to say, like
Yeah.
there are some games where you literally just have bad teammates, and at a certain point as a jungler, like you just can't really like trust ganking for them, right? Because like maybe they misplayed a gank before, or like whatever, and like that's a viable reason for not returning to a lane if like
Hmm.
you think that they're just gonna like misplay it and die. Um, so I really do think it's like a good idea, probably to just clear your bot side, reset, and just walk to Herald. Like Herald should be your biggest priority right now. I think you just like scrap bot lane and just like accept the fact that like they're pushed up. It's probably warded because they're pushed up,
Yeah.
and like double spell shield and sums being up means it's like impossible to gank.
Well, yeah. Well, I know that also like at the same time, even if they are bad, I kind of feel obligated to try and fix the situation
Yeah,
because I am the jungler. You know what I mean?
yeah. And that's the really hard part about jungling.
Like I
Is
really
like
tried to make something out of this. Like Thresh really wanted me to go for this, and I really tried so
I know.
hard.
Like and I massively respect that. Like I know exactly the like feeling of my team like they're falling behind. Like what do I do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's so hard to make that call as a jungler to just scrap a lane, to just say like they're doomed, like I can't fix this. But I think that is like the important part of making a game like winnable and like snowballing a
Hmm.
game, because if you spend too much of your time bottom, that's time you're not spending, ganking the Cassidon, who is
Yeah.
still super squishy at this point. That's time you're spending not getting Herald, not getting top tower, not getting, enemy jungle camps, not like, threatening a 2v2 mid if Kiana comes to gank. Like, there's a lot of things that you could be doing that are a better use of your time than trying to gank like your bad bot lane that is behind against a lane that's like really hard to gank. Like it's like a cost benefit analysis kind of thing. Like you need to like
Yeah.
try and determine like what is like your most efficient use of time. And so one thing about playing with champions like Irelia on your team is that when they're ahead, they're the kind of champion that like needs to like play super aggressively to snowball their lead.
Hmm.
And when you're up against that kind of a champion, or when you're playing with that kind of a champion, excuse me, like you want to try and enable them to be aggressive. And especially because you're Sejuani, I think like your main role at this point in the game, with like how strong you are, how strong Irelia is, Mordekaiser, you just want to be like rotating between top and mid, and just like threatening to be there if Kiana shows up. So like let's bring it back to the mid lane gank and like see theoretically if you were there, if it would have made a difference. Because I know she went 1-for-1. Because I feel like if you were here waiting, like on this pink ward, if Kiana shows up here, you just wait for them to engage onto Irelia, and this is the world's freest double kill.
No, you're right.
And so like you just like kill the Cassidon, you can kill her. Like you want to try and realize like what your win conditions are, like who's fed, who can carry the game for your team, and
Hmm.
just pump all your resources into trying to help them. Because like if you're there and that's a 2-for-0, I would argue that the game is massively in your favor at that point. Because a two
Hmm.
for zero means you shove in this mid wave, you might even get the turret, if not like one or two more plates. Top is about to get two more plates. Like you could even walk straight to Herald if you feel like doing Herald. Like I think those are the kind of decisions. That's the kind of counter gank that like if you can successfully pull off, like wins your team the game. Because you're Irelia and you would be just like so far ahead.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, I think at this point, like you just have to make the call to yourself that like bot lane is like you just leave it up to them. Like you basically like throw them to the wolves.
Hmm.
Like if Ashe is gonna feed, then she's gonna feed. But like, I mean, especially because like Morgana's getting all the kills. Sivir's not even that strong. One,
I think
two, and
Morgana
three.
gets like 9-0 at one point, like
Yeah,
later on in the game. Just doesn't die.
that's hilarious. Yeah, so like I think like if Sivir's fed, I think it's maybe a different story. But like with
Hmm.
Morgana getting the kills, it's like okay, whatever. She gets like a faster Zhonya's, but like it's not the end of the world compared to like a Sivir with like really fast Essence Reaver, Eye Edge, those kind of items. Yeah, I think ganking top here is actually he just dies on his own. Oh, this is the point where I think he's just running it down for tower. Wait,
This is where it starts, but
that is
eventually,
that's a genius
yeah,
strat.
it's terrible.
It's like that's you also have to think that if Sivir's fed. Yeah, that's a really good point. So somebody in the chat just said like you have to think that if Sivir is fed, then the
Hmm.
Irelia would be like the key to shutting down the Sivir. Um, that's a really good point. Like I think Irelia Mordekaiser would be the people to shut down the Sivir. So like if you can continually get them ahead, then like it doesn't matter if the Sivir is doing okay, then
Hmm.
she just dies. Like if Mordekaiser manages to ult her, like I don't think she can do much inside the Death Realm. I think she just dies.
Oh, wait, I fucked this up so bad. I think I die here. Wait, do I? No, I don't. Oh, wait, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I was so mad about this.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll go over it. I think like this is the kind of thing where like you know what you did wrong. So like I don't think there's
Yeah.
much we have to touch on. Okay, that ult's just that. Okay, that ult's just unlucky, dude. Okay,
What?
even with that ult missing though, I think this is still doable. If you just
I just
auto,
I backed up. I thought that he was gonna.
if you just,
I auto tower.
I think. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I think like part of it's Irelia like
The thing
walking
is, I
away
A
randomly.
clicked. Instead of clicking on
Oh,
Cassidy, I A clicked, so I fucking auto attacked the tower.
I
I'm so
see.
used to A clicking camps.
A comedy of errors. Yes, like I think you know what you did wrong there. Like
Yeah.
if the ult hits, that's like an instant 1-for-0, and then like if you didn't mess up the A click, it's probably just a 1-for-1. I mean, it's still a 1-for-1 in the end anyway, so it's not like the end of the world. But that's like
I know.
that's shutdown
Right.
gold going over to the enemy team that shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
No, I know. Yeah, that's why I was so mad about it, because I gave like 900 gold to Cassidy.
Yeah. Okay, you're not really going for that's a little troll. What's the next dragon? Next dragon's Infernal. Dude, this is so unlucky.
It's a really unlucky.
So like this is the kind of like wait a minute. Oh, never mind. I thought I saw a team op, but it was Scions. I thought it was Mordekaiser's. Yeah. So having like Infernal be the dragon in a game where you need to like sack bot lane kind of sucks. But I think it's like the price you like. I think it's okay to give up one, right? To trade Rift Herald for
Hmm.
first Infernal, I think is okay. But I think on second Infernal, that's when you need to fight. So what I would be doing if I was you right now, I would just be spam typing in the chat like Mord, recall, and come to Dragon, right? Because Mordekaiser doesn't have TP, Scion does. And like
Yeah.
sure, Scion's 0-6, so like what's a Scion TP gonna do? But like having Mordekaiser at this Dragon and having your team ready to fight, like you guys I'm pretty sure would just stomp a fight right now. Unless Kiana gets off like a massive wombo, like Kassadin is super weak,
Yeah.
Scion is super weak, Sivir's not even strong. Like, I think you guys just roll over a fight and you can get this dragon, like, on
It's too
cooldown.
late. Because by the time that I backed, it was already gone. Oh wait, no, it just spawned. I was looking at the mini map and never mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never
It,
mind.
it just spawned as you were there.
Yeah,
But
never
look,
mind.
yeah, okay. So here's the assist pings coming down. Okay, wait. Before this is happening, so Scion's, like, actually just running it
He just
down.
ulted past, yeah.
I want to see if this, like, works. How much damage does he do? Like, nothing. Okay. So, like, that's even more reason that, like, Mord shouldn't even be top anymore. Like, you should just try to communicate to him that, like, him being top is kind of pointless. And that, like, if he was here, like, because you can't stop Scion from doing that. You know what I mean? Like, he just curves
Yeah.
past the Mordekaiser, and it's like, okay. But, like, if he was down here, then you guys could just walk straight to this dragon and just fight them.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, so you don't have ult, which is a little unlucky, but it's coming up soon. Aurelia's ult is coming up soon as well. I think as soon as you get those two chunks, yeah, you guys just should turn on
Yeah.
the dragon, which is really good. Getting this dragon is awesome for you guys.
I think Sivir almost gets it here too. She was like her cute. I don't think she does get it, but
Whew!
yeah.
We got it. That's okay. Yeah, so at this point, I would just go and do a full clear of your jungle, which it looks like you're going to do. Because there's nothing for you to do on the map. Your laners are just backing or farming, and so there's not really a gank that you can go for. Just skedoodle past this.
Oh yeah, she just spell shielded it. It's
Yeah,
too bad. And
it's
then
rough.
right when the thresh hook went out, she got the black shield. I was really hoping I could
Yeah, let's see how this
do
plays out, and
something
then we
there.
can go back and look at it. I think they should probably run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, like, I think it's not a bad idea to walk mid, right? Because, like, Sivir is otherwise just gonna, like, free hit the tower here. So I think,
Well,
like,
I saw her alone, so I just thought it was a good
yeah,
time
I
to pick
think
her off.
I think like showing your face here is good, but like you also have to realize like Morgana could be anywhere, right? Like I think you guys probably saw her on this ward, and then like she walked this way, so like theoretically she could be in this bush, she could be back here where she is. But like as soon
Hmm.
as you scare Sivir away, I think you just call it a day because they have more spell shield, they have Sivir spell shield, they got Sivir ult, like she
Yeah.
can't die, and so like I think scaring her away is your main goal, and then I think you just go back to farming.
Hmm.
Because there's not really much that you can gain out of this play besides maybe like burning a flash, but it's already down, so
Yeah, I kind of baited thresh there. Not gonna lie.
yeah,
That's
it's
my
okay.
bad.
It's okay. So I'm trying to think like larger map, like macro wise, how your team should.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I have like noticed when I play in lower ranks or when I watch lower ranks is that like people like don't really like have a game plan for like how to like continue like their advantage, how to like further it, like snowball their lead essentially. And let me tell you, going mid as like 3 melees against Sivir wave clear, I don't think is the way to like snowball your lead because I think there's like 2 ways that you could realistically look to like try and snowball your lead this game. I think one way is to have your really strong soul lanes side lane because nobody can 1v1 them, right?
Hmm.
Kassadin can't 1v1 anyone, Sion can't 1v1 anyone, and like Kiana can't. And I'm pretty sure Mordekaiser could 2v1, and I'm pretty sure Irelia could 2v1, or it'd be close. So like I think your soul lane should probably just go in a side lane here, and then
Yeah.
like you just park the Ashe mid, and she just wave clears against Sivir, and you just like kind of hover around mid and just like make sure nothing happens, and you just let your side lanes win. Like they could just naturally get bot tower.
Yeah.
Um, that's one way to play it out. I think the second way to play it out, which is like sort of what you guys did, is you could look to get the mid tower here, but I think the only way you get the mid tower here is if you go Herald first.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they have too much wave clear to like justify walking up to the tower and trying to like hit it. But I think like
But
with
if we
how
tried to fight them at an objective instead of in a lane,
yeah,
it
so
would be better.
yeah, so if it's like a more open fight, and also like there's a decent chance they just concede it. But like even if they run at you, I think it's still fine because like again, like you were saying, Morgana has like all the kills, all the gold.
Hmm.
Like yeah,
Yeah, she has the most gold on her team, and she's a support.
yeah. Wow, Kiana has quite a bit of gold. I guess her score.
Or yeah,
But yeah, so like your mid laner has a 2,000 gold lead, and your
never
top
mind.
laner has like a 2,200 gold lead. So like they're gonna be like the key to winning this game. Ashe is only useful for her ult and like her hawk shot.
Yeah,
Um,
which is still useful.
yeah, which is still useful. A little less useful against their spell shields, but it's still useful if somebody gets caught out or something. Um, so I think like going Herald's a fine call, or like sending your soul laners and like telling them to like go bot and top. But yeah, I think like going mid and like giving up like shutdown gold on people, like this is probably where the game became like pretty hard to win because like
Yeah,
that's a pretty big gold swing back in their favor. Like they're 1,000 gold up right now because of those shutdowns and the. I knew it. I knew it. Of course, I was like, she has to go in,
she
right?
can
They're
read it. Yeah,
they're so low. She has to go in. Yeah. So like, I think this is probably the point where the game is like pretty hard to win. I think it's still winnable, but like it's definitely not in your favor anymore.
yeah,
Grouping up mid here is okay because they're on reset after that play. You can get the kill on a Scion. So
yeah.
like
I
this,
try. I ulted the Sivir so that she couldn't just walk up
yeah,
while we were fighting.
yeah.
Kinda
There's
my
not
thinking there.
too much your team can do here besides just kind of like pick up this low health mid tower. almost with the Ash arrow.
Now Harold's gone.
Yeah, Herald's gone, and your team cannot early Baron for anything.
Yeah. Oh man, I got so greedy here. I wanted her so bad.
I feel ya.
But that move speed on the ult is just too much.
So like, even with how bad that fight ended, like,
Yeah.
your team like was still actually dealing some damage, which... Okay, so let's take a look here at what I think should have probably happened. So Baron spawning, but that doesn't matter because neither team can actually kill Baron. I think as soon as this tower dies and like Ash ult's burned, the Ash ult and your ult are your team's like big engage tools, and both are down right now. So
Yeah.
I think there's no world where like walking up to this tower is a good idea. It might be if your ults were up and you could look to maybe force a fight. But like, I just don't really think there's like much you could do here. I think the better play is probably like get that tower, and then you just walk and you clear your jungle. So like those jungle camps that you did earlier are spawning, so you could just go like Crab, Gromp, Wolves, and like you don't have to worry about Baron because the enemy team can't kill Baron right now. Your lanes can just go catch farm, and then like you also continue growing your gold lead and like getting tankier and like being more of a front line. Like going for this tower here, I think like without your guys' like main tools for engaging, tools for fighting, is not a great idea. Should Vision be bot side or top side here? So
Probably top because Baron's up there.
I think
Or maybe bot if we want to get the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about.
What's the next dragon coming up too?
The next dragon coming up is another Infernal.
Yeah, so definitely bot side.
So, yeah, so what I would do, Travi, is I think I would have my team reset after killing this tower and fixing side lanes. And then I would probably get like one, maybe two wards by Baron, either if that's like a pink from a laner or like, you know, maybe a ward or two from the support. And then transfer the rest of the vision down in this bot red side jungle, and then look for this tower. So like if you get all your vision down here and you sweep a bunch of vision and you have pinks and things, and you set up to get this tower, you can just dive anyone that goes to defend it, right? Because you have a Sejuani with Stoneplate that can tank forever. And then you get the tower for free and a kill. And if you get like, if a fight breaks out, you know, who knows? Maybe you win the fight, you could walk up to Baron after. But I think given how slow the enemy team kills Baron at this point in the game, there's not really a reason to have all of your Baron, or all of your vision towards the Baron. I don't think it really adds much benefit. But like, so like one downside of all these like fights that you guys have been having is like the beneficiary of these fights for the enemy team is Kiana and Cassidy.
Yeah.
Right, like Sivir's not getting anything, and like I guess Morgana's getting a little bit, but that doesn't matter. But like Kassadin's back in the game now. Like even though he has 94 CS, he's only 1,000 gold behind. Whereas like beforehand he was over 2,000 gold behind, and also you were ahead of Kiana in terms of gold, and now she's 1,000 gold ahead. So like those kind of fights are like giving them an avenue back into the game that they shouldn't have.
Yeah. I'm making a lot of mistakes as well.
Yeah, like I'm not seeing that many like micro mistakes. Like obviously there was like the play mid. But like other than that, and maybe like bot lane saving your Q, like there's no real micro mistakes you're making. I think it's just like decision making, which is by far the hardest thing on a jungler, right? Like anybody can press the buttons. It's just like a matter of like okay. So I think
a lot of times I like in the back of my mind I know what decisions are available to me, but like knowing what priority to like make those decisions in and like what order or like which one should be made first is like where I trip up.
And I think that's something that comes from from like coaching sessions. I think that's something that comes from like just playing the game and thinking about the game. Like
Hmm.
one of the most important things to like improving is having like a cerebral mindset of the game. Like a lot of people play on like autopilot and they kind of just like, sure, I'll fight here, like all right, let's group up, instead of like thinking about like what do I want to do? Like what should I
Yeah.
do?
Like, why am I taking the actions that I'm taking?
Yeah, and like
And what's gonna happen?
once you can reach that next step of like kind of thinking more like cerebrally about the game, like thinking more like intensely, that's when you can really like help kind of like accentuate like your macro a little bit and like learn to snowball leads and learn to close out games faster.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me touch a little bit on this. So Dragon is coming up. Has everyone on your team spent gold? Okay, yes. So both teams have full negative 124 gold on Scion. See futures market.
That's interesting.
Okay, so I think going to this dragon is not a great idea. So as much as I'd hate to like give up second Infernal, the strongest player in your team right now is Mordekaiser. Like in terms
And
of
he's top.
gold, in terms of like just game state, and yeah,
Hmm.
he's top with no TP. So I think going here, like I think you just send like an Ash Hawk shot, and like you see if they're doing it, and if they are, great. And I think what you do instead is you just try and like get mid-wave shoving, and then you walk up and like you just clear out Baron Vision, right? Because like you have a move your webcam to the bottom left. Yes, I think it would be. Let me check. Let me know if that's in an okay spot, because I don't want to make it look too weird. Yeah, you're welcome, Travi. Let me move the logos then. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So back to what I was saying. I think if you get the vision towards Baron, you have a really good pick team. Like really, really good.
Yeah.
Like you have Sejuani ult out of Fog of War, you have Threshook out of Fog of War, Ashe ult out of Fog of War, Mordekaiser snare. Like Irelia can like line up a good ult. You have a lot of tools that like are really, really good when you're fighting from Fog of War, like onto unsuspecting enemies. Because, like, maybe Morg can't spell shield in time. If, like, you ult somebody from Fog. Maybe Sivir
Yeah.
can't spell shield in time. Like, things like that. Or, like, even if they do, like, then, you've got Thresh Q, or you've got your ult. Like, whatever was used first, you can just use the other.
Yeah.
So I think just setting up Baron Vision there is probably the better play, because I think you just have to accept that Infernal's gone.
Sure, I guess they just go straight for Baron here, because
Yeah.
like I kind of didn't really want to fight, just because I think that we just kind of had to give it up because we're kind of behind now on the back foot.
Yeah, it's rough. A couple of fights mid set you guys behind when you were like even/ahead. But I do think there's still an outside chance the game's winnable, right? Because there's just such a lead on your top laner that like maybe he can just ult the Kiana and kill her, and like, or maybe ult the Kassadin and kill him. Like Mordekaiser's ult provides a tool to deal with like really fed champions, especially ones like Kiana that like if he gets onto in the Death Realm, like he can just kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so dumb of me.
Yeah, no, it's rough. I think against their team, like, and with your teammates, like, I think you just have to call for like Ash Hawk shot to be like the face check. Because like as tanky as you are, unless like you literally instantly Q backwards, like right in this second, I think there's
Yeah.
like no real way that like you live through like just their chain CC.
Well, yeah, I guess I think I just got too confident because I thought that I could.
Yeah.
More than I did.
Yeah, like if you had your team backing you up there, I think it's fine to face check right there because like you have stone plate
Yeah.
and like popping it, like you could probably buy enough time for like Mordekaiser and Irelia to do things. But I think if you're going alone, like you probably just call for Ash Hawk shot. And then, you know, off of the Ash Hawk shot, you can determine what to do, right? Like, if they're hitting the Baron, then, like, your team can come. If they're not hitting the Baron, well, then you could, like, go back to farming a little bit. Okay, so just based off the thing, looks like they don't get Baron here. Which is quite surprising. Yeah, I guess their team's on a different page. I think like games in this elo are like really like comebackable just because like the enemy team doesn't know how to like snowball their lead.
Yeah.
Right? So like even if they have like a 6,000 gold lead right now, like it's not like
Well,
completely
yeah, like the game goes on
doomed.
for like 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah. And it looks like you guys get Baron. So like I'm interested to see how that plays out.
yeah. Like I tried really hard to win. I did.
Hey man, massive respect. Some games like
Appreciate
these
that.
are just like super tilting, right? Because like if you know your team had like a really good shot to win and you start losing it, then like it just feels really bad. So it's hard to like keep like a positive mental. But that's like super important. That's like the only way you can come back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why your Ash is bottom. I just kind of want to watch them duke it out for a sec. Oh, that's intense. Okay. So, do you remember, like, was your Ash, like purposely kind of being a little trolly, or was she just, like...
I don't think she was even talking in chat, dude.
Okay,
I don't think
so,
she was
so,
just.
like, I think when you have, like, cavemen like that on your team, I think it's, like, really important to, like, tell them what to do. Not in, like a demanding way,
No, yeah, just be like,
but, like,
hey, talk shot this for me, please.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So like ping like assist a few times and then just type like Ash Hawk shot. Or like just type like ping mid a few times and then just be like
go mid.
Can you go mid? Cuz like like people like that just don't understand like what to do. Right? So
Hmm.
like I have friends like this and I play normals with them. And like they think like that because they're the ADC, they just go bot, right? Like they don't have any conception of like roaming around the map or like lane swapping or like I should be
Yeah.
here or like anything like that. They're like I am the ADC, so I will go bot lane. And I think in a game like this, it's like really detrimental because Ashe being bot instead of Mordekaiser, like Mordekaiser just kills Sion there, or at
Well, yeah, he
worst,
just rolls over him.
yeah, or at worst, just like shoves the wave and like has TP to like look for a fight. But like Ashe dying bottom, like theoretically should allow the enemy team to walk to Baron now. Like obviously they aren't on it right now, but yeah, like Ashe should just be mid clearing waves with you and Thresh. And then like your solo lane should just be in solo lanes.
Yeah.
So like one thing to note that like is actually pretty important is like the enemy team's Baron speed is like so atrocious. Right, like it's not like terrible at this point because like Sivir's got a few items under her belt, but it's not good by any stretch of the
Well, yeah.
imagination.
She's the only one that does any sort of dukes
Yeah,
on their team.
like Kassadin sucks at killing Baron, Kiana can't, Sion's not even there half the time, and Morgana obviously can't. So I think like you can be pretty liberal with like how you like how often you check Baron and how you check Baron. Like I think Ash Hawkshot is literally enough to just like make sure they're not on it, even with the cooldown
Yeah.
between it. So let's let this play out and then we can look at this. This looks really good for you guys. Wow, Ash and Arrow, let's go.
Yeah.
And you guys get her too. That's so good. I really also got 2 fat shutdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of this game, both Mordekaiser and Aurelia had 14 kills. It was, yeah.
Okay. So getting Baron here is good. Losing Ash is whatever.
Nobody important died.
Yeah. Haha, everyone important made it out. Okay, so now that your team has Baron, okay, let's see, who has it? I really... Okay, so everyone but Ash has it. That's super good. That's super good.
Yeah.
So what you want to be typing to your team right now is you guys really, really, really want to 1-3-1 right now, because like grouping against their team is like
Yeah. Having
is
Aurelia and Morden side lanes, right?
yeah. So like against Cassid and Sivir, like there's no way that you guys win a 5v5 right now. But there is a way where Mordekaiser can just push into side lane with Baron buff, and Irelia can just push in side lane with Baron buff, and like you and Thresh can look to roam around and like like gangbang on like whoever is trying to defend those lanes. But let's see how this mid lane fight turns out. Sion's actually just spreading it down.
Yeah, no, he's just running it out for him.
Going on to Sivir here is fine.
I have Q up soon, that's why I just kept chasing her, you know?
Yeah. I think let's look at that. Let's actually see whether or not. So landing ult on her and chunking her is good. Mordekaiser missed his E, which stinks. Let's see how your team does over here. I think...
Should I have stayed with my team? Should I have just let her go?
Yeah, let's see. So, okay, landing ult on Sivir's fine. You chunk her, blah, blah. I think the second you see that drag land in on Kassadin, though, I think you just change your sights. Because if you're autoing him with Mord and stacking up your passive, you just stun him and you kill him, and that's a 400 gold bounty. Which is probably more important than killing Sivir. But, like, in the end, I mean, I think you only get one kill out of it anyway, so it's between killing Kassadin or killing Sivir. So, like, it's not a huge deal. Like, it's not consequential.
You see what I'm talking about here? Like,
dude, this is like infuriating to play against.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Okay, thing is, like, you still have Baron buff on the people that are important. Like, you still have it on you and Mord and Irelia.
Aurelia, yeah.
So, like, that's a free. So.
I think I died for this. Wait, did I? Wait, no, I didn't. I get out with it, but.
Nice. Really good ult. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, so I think...
I'm kind of out of it. I can't really do much.
Yeah, no, that's fine to base. Your team wins this fight without you. So, like, this is super winnable.
Yeah.
And, like, being there to stop the Sion is good.
He just... Well, watch how much damage he does with his proc. Like... Oh, wait, it doesn't do that much, but...
It's kind of crazy, like, considering there's no minions.
Yeah. And now he just keeps hitting it, like...
like...
He's just... And he does it like 3 more times and finally ends the game. Like I just can't do anything about it.
He's actually just sprinting it down.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna be honest, I don't exactly know how to, like, play against that, but, like, I think one thing is, like, if the game is a 4v5, basically, like, you really, like, just want to try and group up and force. Because, like, you have really good tools for engage, and, like, they have stuff to kind of, like, dissuade it. But, like, if you have an Ashe ult flying in, Irelia coming in, a Mordekaiser going in, Sejuani, like, they can't spell shield all of it. Like, some stuff is going to land.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to kind of, like, bank on the fact that, like, you'll get off a successful engage, and if it's 4v5, you're going to be winning pretty much any fight. Well, I guess your Ashe isn't really a... 4.5 v4. She's not really a whole team. Oh my god, Thresh is 053 too. I didn't even realize he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
How do you have 3 kill participation in a 28 kill game? That's funny. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. He flashed over the wall. Like, look at him go. Look at him. He's trying so hard, dude. He wants it.
This dude.
Dude, he wants his LP.
Oh my god.
He wants his LP.
Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, this, like Preston said, this is a high gold scion who's making these immaculate macro decisions. But yeah, so he, oh man, he placed
Yeah,
a
Scion
ward.
still has more KP than our Thresh, by the way.
Yeah, Scion has 4 KP, running it down doesn't hit a champion. Yeah, like the thing is, he placed a ward bottom. So if I had to guess, knowing this man, he's going to TP and then just ult your inhib. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think, yeah, and your team's making the pinks for it. You just walk to Baron here. Like, you see Morgana bot.
Yeah, it really
Oh
is
no,
backing.
they steal it, Timey.
Yeah, they do.
Let's see.
Because my smite. I'm bad.
Your team is still hitting Baron.
Yeah, I wanted to, yeah. I wanted to get off of it, and yeah.
So there's 3 things that went wrong. Only one of them is your fault, and I think yours is like the least important. So
Yeah.
I honestly think it's almost never the jungler's fault if he loses a 50-50. And right, like that might just be some jungle main bias coming, but like if it's 50-50, like that's literally why it's called a 50-50. It's like a coin flip, whoever gets it, right? Like oftentimes it's not even like timing your smite properly because there's just so much DPS going down onto the Baron that like
That's hard to time it.
it's
Correctly.
really hard to time it, right? It's basically just luck. Especially I think like in gold, like I don't
Oh
think
my
this
God.
Kiana's like timing damage and stuff. Another thing that went wrong, Mord didn't save his ult to ult the Kiana, because if he ults Kiana there, then you just finish Baron and you can smite it without contest.
Yeah.
And the third thing that went wrong is your team kept hitting Baron. If you guys just all peeled off Baron like you and Mord did, then you just kill them, right? Like, and it doesn't matter. The good thing is, like, you did kill, like, everyone, though. So they don't actually... Like, Morgana's their only Baron buff. Sion didn't even get bot inhib. So, like, it's not that bad. It just sucks that, like, you guys don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay, going mid is okay here because the death timers are so long that you probably just sneak the inhib. Especially with Demolish.
Yeah, that demolish damage, dude. Holy shit.
Okay, so that's dead. Next dragon is Elder, which is pretty big for both teams. But it doesn't look like it was secure. Honestly, it's bigger for the enemy team to get than your team, so it's fine if you guys aren't playing towards it. It's basically just like you have to worry if like the enemy team is going to look for it. Okay, you make it out because you're so tanky.
Yeah, you've got adaptive helm at this point.
Yeah, like you're basically unkillable. Like it takes a long time to kill you.
Why did I fight him here? I don't know why I did. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I think it's okay. You don't really lose too much. Whoa, 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 whoa.
You just blast cut over. What? Wait.
No, 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 no. Timey, tell me what you should be
Oh.
doing right now.
Elder.
Yes. Why?
Because Kiana's top.
Kiana's top,
fighting
fighting
2-11 Ash.
your feeding Ash. This is like the dream scenario for you guys. You have 4 people at Elder. Their jungle's top. I think like you just walk it here, and like you guys can just take it.
Yeah, and I backed because I'm bad. Wait.
Well, I think all you do is just like spam ping this, right?
I
Like,
think I was just worried about Scion taking our base, dude. I think that's what was like on my mind at the time. Was just
yeah,
like,
no, and like games like that when you're playing against like the thing that sticks out to me is when you're playing against Tryndamere. God, I hate playing against Tryndamere. It makes you but the thing that loses you games when you play against like cheese strats, like split push strats and stuff like that, is like you need to be incredibly decisive, right? Like you need to look at Scion, you need to look at where he is, and you need to make the call saying that like he can't end the game, right? Like your tower is healthy enough, like there's inhibs up, like he can't even hit it. Like sure, maybe he gets an inhib, but that's fine trading Elder for it. You know what I mean? Like you
well,
need
yeah, but also like we don't have DPS. really.
I think with 4 people there, with how squishy Elder is, like you can take it. I think the only downside to starting it is that like maybe Cassidon comes because like he was sort of in the area. Um, but if Cassidon comes, I still think it's okay because then like Mord can just Death Realm him, and then you just keep DPSing it down. But
Yeah,
I think it's at least worth a shot, right? Because like instead of you guys like get nothing, like Kiana made a huge mistake by going top, but like you guys
yeah.
got nothing off of it.
Well, I think I'm gonna use the excuse of what Hubris is saying in chat. Sign with the mental warfare, dude. I was just tilted out of my mind at this point in the game, and
No,
I
I
just
feel you.
wasn't making
Like
any cognizant decisions.
yeah, like games like this are super tilting. Cause like it sucks losing to cheese. It really does. Oh, I guess I lied. I guess they get Elder, but it doesn't show on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so them getting Elder's rough, because theoretically they should just walk at you and end. But Sivir's dying. Okay, Ash did something. Wow. Okay.
I tried to smite the kill away from her because I just didn't want her to get it. She didn't deserve it.
I like it. I like it. Sivir dying there is really good though, because she's probably the most important person to have Elder on, and her losing it is pretty big.
I don't know. Yeah. What I'm doing here.
Like, you don't lose anything for doing this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you lose your ult, but like it's a short cooldown, and like you're just like zoning them away and like making their Elder timeout. Oh, okay, wait a
And then
minute.
I just get blown up. Yeah. They do a lot of damage to me, even though I'm like full build with
Yeah,
quite a bit of stats.
yeah. The Kiana
Like,
special.
Cassidon doesn't even have Leandries. Like, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I think here you just walk back towards your blue, and you just like, because
Yeah.
like, especially against Kiana.
Yeah, like I just took so much damage.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I think Infernal with Elder probably played a big part in that. How do they
Yeah.
not end the game here? Let's see.
They do, I think. Oh no, they don't. Wait, what was that ult? That Ash ult?
Yeah, yikes.
Just like,
Your Aurelia is popping off.
yeah.
Oh, double stopwatch. Wow, okay, yeah, so she's actually popping off. She pretty much saved the game.
Yeah.
How has no one ended the game yet is the question. Yeah, honestly, Julia. It's quite surprising. Wait a minute. Why are you showing
Wait, I didn't even see that in the game. Wait, he flashed to
wait.
ult the spell shield.
Can we get a run back on this?
Play in slow motion.
Yeah,
please.
0.25, 0.25. That's funny. Okay, wait. Okay, let's get a run back
I
on the
think
Scion.
he still kills her, but I'm not sure.
Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's just actually sprinting it down. Oh my god, he got the tower. No. What a great first VOD I chose to review for this
I mean, it was a good game. Like, it's not like I played bad. It's just like,
there's a lot of things to go over and like a lot of lessons to be learned. So I agree, it's a really
Yeah.
good game. It's just hilarious.
no, I think I picked a good one. But honestly, I don't remember this being that game. But I'm glad that I did pick it.
Pestrin, I can't believe we've watched this entire game. At this point, there's nothing really to analyze. I just want to see how it ends. I'm too invested in it. Grass Blade. Oh!
Oh. Jeez. All right.
Okay. Let's run it back real quick. This will probably the
I'm just like
last.
having a wet noodle fight with this.
So I think as soon as you stun her here, and then you Q
Yeah.
her, I think you just ult her right now. Because then Ash just
I mean, I already
closes the...
ulted her earlier, didn't I?
Oh my god, you're right. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
That's how it started. Oh no, you just ulted her there.
Did I?
Yeah, I think so. I'm guessing this is bugging out with your ult CD because I'm pretty sure you flash ult her. Yeah, so you get stunned and then you flash ult her.
Yeah, yeah, I did.
So I think
Right.
if you just ult to keep the chain
Silence
CC
is
on.
ending the game, by the way.
I know.
I'm pretty sure.
Like,
He's just gonna, yeah.
yeah, I think it's over.
I think it is over here.
Ah!
Yep.
Oh,
Wait.
wait, minions? Oh, wait. Oh, Cassidon. Wait, Expeke? Oh! What a beautiful game.
Honestly, Hubris, I think I was fighting that Kiana thinking that I was still pre-nerf said.
Yeah, you're right. Like Sejuani a year ago just destroys Kiana there.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, I love League of Legends.
Me too, dude.
Okay, so I think overarching themes for that game, and I wish that I was writing this down. I should. I think overarching themes for that game is you
Hmm.
really just want to try and focus towards your strong side of the map in the like early mid game. Or like
Yeah.
you had a really strong Mordekaiser, you had a really strong Irelia. I
Hmm.
think you just completely avoid bot lane, and like if they're complaining about it, you mute them. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and I think you look more towards Herald. I think Herald would have been a really good thing to try and open up the map a little bit
Yeah.
more. Because if you had Herald, then that mid fight wouldn't have happened where like you guys greeted for the tower too hard because like that
Yeah,
tower
you're
would have
right.
just been dead. Um, I think adding on to that, um, I think a really big thing is like you guys had the lead, but because I think you didn't really know like how to like pressure it,
Hmm.
like you gave up your shutdown, and then Irelia lost her shutdown, and Ward lost his, and like within a matter of like 3 or 4 minutes, it went from like you guys having a 2,000 gold lead to the enemy team having like a 1,000 gold
Yeah, just a
lead.
huge swing.
Yeah, and they got two mid towers, which like opened up the map a ton. So I think like if that never happens, right? Like if you guys get the mid tier one and just reset after, then I think like that game's really different because then like your team is like in the driver's seat and you could probably just like force engages whenever your ult's up, whenever you see somebody, and like you guys are strong enough to win it. But I think that fight was like kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back almost.
Yeah.
That's when it became like really hard to win that game because by then like Sion had killed so much that like it was a little rough.
Yeah, he carried his team, dude. Silent.
He
Ran
actually
it down
did
to
the
victory.
17 death Scion, I think.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
And don't forget the 3 KP Thresh and the 14 Death Ash.
Yeah. All right. You have any questions, anything you want to touch on from that game or in general or anything?
No, I think that we completely covered it. It's just,
Okay. I know before we went live, you were saying you wanted to talk about like when to pick like certain champs, like counter
Yeah,
picking and
just
things
like
like that.
knowing. Well, I mean, for specific champions that I play, I know what counters them and I know what they counter. But I mean more like when I was talking about like picking during champs, like I more meant like picking to round out my team comp if I'm like last pick,
Yeah.
or if and things like that. Just knowing like what I can pick in certain team comps.
Yeah. So I think in your rank,
It doesn't matter.
you can pick any champion in almost any game, right? Like
Yeah.
Maybe if like your team's all AD, you'd want to like try and play like an AP jungle, or like vice versa. If your team is all AP, you'd want to play an AD. Um, but yeah, I think in general, like in gold,
Hmm.
I really don't think like team composition is like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Especially like not if you're like maybe if you're duoing it is like if you have like a duo top laner that's going like Renekton, um, maybe you want to pick like an aggro jungler or like a Colette or something. But
Hmm.
like if you're playing solo queue, like you honestly can pick whatever champion and make it work in that kind of rank. I think yeah, as Hubris was saying, damage types is basically the only thing you want to look at, right? Like if
Okay.
there's too much AD, then you could pick an AP. If there's too much AP, you could pick an AD.
Yeah.
Things like that. Um, I think picking counter pick in the jungle isn't really that important because like there's not that many hard counters in the jungle because it's not like lanes where you're constantly interacting with the person you're facing, right?
Hmm.
Like counters exist in lanes because like they're constantly trading, they're constantly fighting, they're constantly CSing. Like you can't escape them. But in the
Yeah.
jungle, like if you're in a terrible matchup, like if I'm playing Elise and the enemy locks in Olaf, I just avoid Olaf. Like I try my best to like be on the other side of the map or like, path the opposite way or maybe like I only counter gank him or like I don't
Hmm.
face check certain bushes. Like there are ways to try and play around counter picks in the jungle, so I don't think it's a huge deal. Um, like if you do well into the enemy jungler, it's nice, but I don't think it's something you have to like specifically pick for.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Anything else you want to touch on in terms of like draft, in terms
Um.
of champion choice, anything?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I wrote some stuff down, but I think we pretty much covered them. Like when I talked about like not having enough knowledge of lane matchups,
Yeah.
we kind of touched on that at the beginning of the VOD.
Yeah, yeah. I think the biggest thing with like understanding lane matchups is like, and like also like as stupid as it sounds, like something I do when I'm playing in solo queue games and I genuinely don't know how a matchup goes. Like I
Hmm.
sometimes just type to my laner, like how is that for you? Or like I'll ping him and I'll ping his enemy and I'm like is that a good matchup? Right? Like and it helps me like learn. And like obviously it's a little like iffy in your elo because like
Well, yeah, because not everybody knows what they're doing.
exactly like some guy might be like first timing like Darius, right? Whereas like the Darius in my games has like 400 games this season on him. So like they
Hmm.
know like the insides and out of every matchup, but like it's still like something like worth asking like or like like hey do you think I could come gank for you or like hey do you need me to gank hey do you want me to gank things like that.
Yeah.
Like, like just try and like be like your laner's like servant.
Hubris. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, though, I mean, honestly, there was no real micro mistakes, like outside of like a
Okay.
few, like
Yeah,
like you
there was
miss,
some really ugly
yeah, like
plays
that,
that I made.
the ult miss and like some like the tilt, like keep engaging when you probably should have backed off, but
Yeah.
that's not like micro. Like that game was lost because of like macro, because of decision making, and like
Hmm.
your Ash sucked, but like it was winnable.
I agree. It was.
It wasn't like completely doomed, which is why it's such a good game to go over, and why it's like such a good first game to like start off the series with.
Hmm.
Because like a lot of VOD reviews I've done in the past, it's like you're giving me a game where your team is like down like 0-20 by like 10 minutes. Like you can't
Well,
win.
I'll
Like
never give you a game like that. I
yeah,
promise.
yeah. Like I've had people send me games like that, and it's like the game's lost at like 5 minutes, dude. Like
Yeah, like
I
what do you want me to
like
review?
like like
There's
there's nothing.
nothing.
There's actually nothing to review. So I'm really glad this game like had actually like a wealth of stuff. Like it was winnable probably up until like I'd say it was pretty much winnable until like Sion opened up the Nexus. I think once he opened up the Nexus, it was pretty
Yeah,
doomed. But before then, I think it was decently winnable.
yeah. Well, the next thought I have for you is actually a duo game with Bestrin on one of his Smurf
A
accounts.
duo game with Bestrin.
Yeah, dude.
All right. For this one, I'm
Like,
gonna run over the early game, and then because I've got about 15 more minutes.
okay.
Um, Bester with the question marks.
He's not boosting for losing though, Julia.
Wait, is he Smite Lux mid or is he someone else?
He's the Lux mid going 1-8, dude.
Is the Smite on purpose, Brett?
No,
Or
it's not.
all right, we'll run over the early game of this game. Mana disparity. That's a sick name. Okay, yeah. So just running over like the lane assignments in this game. So this is a really good example of what Travi was talking about. I don't know. I doubt he's still here because it's late. But top lane is an incredibly volatile matchup. It's the kind of matchup where like if Tryndamere gets a lead, he just like constantly spins
Wait,
on
what do you
Fiora.
mean? Wait, I thought everybody knew you. I'm so sorry. Oh my god,
That's
I'm
hilarious.
actually.
You outed
Oh,
Brett.
I, it was an accident. Oh no.
That's so funny. Yeah, so top lane is like the kind of matchup where if Tryndamere gets a lead, he just spins on Fiora and just wins.
Yeah.
If Fiora gets a lead, then she can just Q onto Tryndamere and she wins. So like it's a little like it's the kind of matchup where like you want to get your laner ahead.
Yeah.
Mid lane is like whatever. I mean, I think Lux does okay in Vel'Koz just because she has such long range. But like that kind of matchup is basically just like AFK wave clear. Um, And then bot lane is actually pretty volatile as well. It's two engaged supports and then like two kind of like damage oriented like short range ADCs. So like there's probably a lot of fighting that can happen bot. So I'd focus like most of my
Yeah.
attention top and bot and probably just like leave mid to farm because like Lux farming up is like pretty easy. In theory. I mean not if you're Brett apparently 1-8, but
Look, I'm so sorry, Brett. I didn't mean it. That's not his account, guys. He's just he's borrowing it from a friend. All right.
so
It's
account
not his
sharing and
account.
he's reported to Riot Games.
Wait, no,
I
wait. That's
just
not what I meant. What
There's
the
no
fuck?
winning. Okay, so Brett spots out the invade.
Shit.
Oh, I thought he was gonna get hooked and die. Wait. Okay, no, he's fine. Okay. Yeah, so in this kind of a
So
game,
sorry, Dustin.
I would just clear your bot side and then
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, on Kane, I do almost the same play every game.
Do you start Raptors or red?
I just start red and go Krugs Raptors.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think there's some games where it's good if you want to start like Raptors and you can like let your bot lane
Yeah.
push, but like I don't think in gold it really matters who gets the push bot
Yeah.
lane.
I mean, I've done like a weird like early level 2 cheese strat that I learned a while back where I'll start Raptors and then do I'm sorry, I'll start Wolves and then I'll go Raptors red and then gang follow like level 2.
Genius.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll fast forward to this
With
clear,
red buff.
because you've cleared on Kane probably 1,000 times already.
I certainly have.
Oh wow, this is a creative gang. So this is good. Let's see how this plays out. Oh! Hey, good snare. Nice, you guys got the kill and both sums.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the kind of wave that you want to shove out with Brett. Because if Brett can get like a reset, maybe like an extra Doran's ring or something.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think I don't remember what we were like in call, but I don't remember. I think he just told me to leave. I don't know. Like I think I asked him if he wanted me to help shove.
Flawlessly played by Mr. Tommy Debate off Falcon. Yeah, okay. So hopefully your bot lane's communicating to you, and obviously you were the one that burned the sumps mid. But there are so many flashes down right now that like it's like a field day if you're a jungler. Like bot lane is super easy to gank. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Brett's roaming up. I think you guys win this.
I think we do.
Okay. Nice. You got the Jax's flash. Literally no flashes up on the entire map right now. for the enemy team. Wait a minute. Aftershock Jax. That's not what you take.
Yeah, he was kind of trolling. Also, don't forget to turn on the screen share, because I just want to make sure that I'm watching it. There's like a slight delay, but it's not.
Oh. Is it not on for you?
I can't see it on Discord.
Sorry about that. Turn on
It's all
screen.
good.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, it must have turned off when I don't even know when it would
Yeah,
have turned
it's
off.
because you were streaming League, and so once the window closed,
I see. I see.
Yeah.
You're right.
It just thought they were done.
Okay. So this is a heck. Okay. So as you're clearing these camps, you want to be kind of like looking around the map and like looking at the state of your lanes and like what you should do.
Yeah.
Bot lane, oh boy, wow, they're so pushed up. Okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
And it sucks even more because the enemy bot's just going to shove out this wave and probably just base. Trindamir's shoving in top. It's like there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
I think you basically can just clear, and that's like it, right? Because I think top lane, like if you were to gank it right now, you'd lose 2v2. Because there's a fat wave, Fior's level 6. So you can't go top. And you can't go bot. And you can't go mid. These are the kind of games as jungle where like it really sucks. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you just have to try and... So like one thing that's helpful is when you're in a game where like you can't gank anywhere, like then your job becomes like tracking the enemy jungle and looking to counter gank. Because if you can't like gank somewhere, that means your lanes are pushed up, and if your lanes are pushed up, it means the enemy's gonna come gank
Yeah.
you. And so like you want to be there to position for a counter gank. So like you can't be the one that initiates, but you can follow up, right? So like if Brett was to be killed, okay, never mind. Yeah, I was gonna say if like Jax were to jump on him, like you could be there, but like Fiora roamed down too, so there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Looking bot here might be okay with your E. It's their health. No. Yeah, okay. If the enemy bot wants to play it like that, it's definitely doable. Good job. That's really, really good. Got their sums out. Again, like, you have a really good sense of, like, knowing, like, where you should be. Like, even if it's not, like, 100% on purpose all the time, like,
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, you're, like, almost always, like, in a really good spot. Okay, wait,
I was hoping I could survive there.
Yeah, that was really close. Let's see.
Yeah. I missed my W, and if I didn't do that, I would have actually probably lived. I kind of missed like one ability.
Yeah, let's see. So good smite. Auto, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, yeah. If W hit, then she just dies to the Q and you could walk out. And then I think you probably live, because I don't think you take the second turret shot. But yeah, I mean, that's close. I mean, that's something that, like, can't really, like, chalk up. I still think diving her is an okay idea. It's just a little risky with, like, execution. Also, Kaisa got tower aggro because I don't think she was...
I was hoping that I would, like, be able to tank, like, 3 shots, then press R, and switch over aggro to her.
Yeah, she just, like, I don't think she even was, like, paying attention to the fact she got tower aggro. She just died.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, like, you know their flashes are down bot. Like, you just want to live bot lane. Like, getting that kill is so important. You burn MF ult too. That's a lot of pressure down.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, right here, I would just look to dive the MF. And the reason I say that is because you have a pink ward here, so you can see if Jax is coming to counter gank it. It's a really good pink ward you placed earlier. And you know that she has no sums because her flash is down. And, like, theoretically, let's say you were pathing to dive her, you'd run into her, like, right here. I don't know why she's walking up like this, but, like, if you found the MF right here, I think she just dies 10 times out of 10. And I think, like, with Leona tanking, even if Leona dies, like, MF then dies, and she misses about 10 minions bot. So I don't know how top has swung so far in Trinimir's favor, but that's good for you guys.
Yeah.
Brett's not feeding hard yet.
Keyword yet.
Yeah, let's hold the brakes on that one. Whoops. Okay, I think clearing here is fine. You've got a slight CS lead on Jax and a lot of kills. Like, you have a really nice bounty right now. Warrior completed also. Jax is going straight into Triforce. Yikes. Yeah, again, there's not really anywhere you could... Actually, I take that back. I think top is a viable gank because Tryndamere ult and your ult means, like, you can, like, if played properly, you can basically tank a tower for, like, 8 seconds. So I think ganking top would be an okay idea, but yeah, like, you go for it and it was warded by Fiora. Place a ward in a good spot, too. Oh,
She
wow.
did.
Yeah, she's dead. She took a horrible trade. And got her ult out of her. That's super good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rip to the Vel'Koz.
Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah, not much you could do about that. Because, like, without the call that Vel'Koz is roaming up, maybe that was given, but, like, I mean, there's not much you can do. Plus, like, he dies anyway. Oh. That's
He doesn't.
tragic.
Yeah.
The stopwatch. It's, like, such a hectic game, but I think that's good for a champion like Kayn, because, like, obviously, as shown by your score, like, Kayn's the kind of champ that just, like, runs around and, like, thrives in this kind of chaotic game, because he's so fast getting around the map. And he can also, like, keep up his CS, too. Like, there's, like, a lot of junglers, like, if I'm playing Elise or something, like, you have to choose between ganking or farming, but Kayn can just farm so fast that, like, he can just kind of do both.
Yeah.
Just fly through walls and
We
stuff.
can clear before anything happens, and then when something happens, you're just there.
Yeah.
I think he does really well in solo queue.
You buying an item?
I think so. I think I was, like, maybe thinking. I don't know what I was doing. I'm just, like, sitting here for, like, 20 seconds. What am I doing? I might have, like, I don't know. I
You bought boots and a Kindle Gem. Okay. So this a red Kayn kind of game?
Yeah, that's what I was. Well, I think I was considering whether or not. I think I had blue form available, maybe. And I was just like thinking if I wanted to wait for red form or not. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go red. Because they had, you know, if I went blue, they have a lot of peel. They've got Nautilus with like 3 different abilities they can peel, and then like Jax stun and like Vel'Koz knock up.
Yeah,
and it just wouldn't be a good blue game.
Yeah,
So
I think red is a smart choice here. So I think, yeah, you and Brett should be able to clean this up pretty easy.
I think that we don't kill Fiora, or do I? Yeah, I don't.
Close. Isn't red better most of the time? Yeah, I would say red's probably better.
It's better in more situations, yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're just like 5 squishy champions, like you just want blue.
Yeah, if you're like hard snowballing, yeah, you can go blue, but like.
Also, you know what's really interesting that I didn't know until like a few months ago?
What?
Is that if you're like really ahead and you go blue form, you can go Stork Boots because your passive does magic damage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like it just does pure magic damage, like your passive. The extra damage that it does, it's all magic.
Dude, counter jungling here is like so smart. You have like a really fat lead right now.
Yeah.
Personally. Like Trinimir's doing good top. Calling for Herald's also good here. Because you realize they're getting Dragon because your bot died. Yeah, so like this is what I was like calling for last game. Like if you ever realize they're just on Dragon, you just trade. And like it's like this is like a post plate Herald, so like it's not as good, but like it's still good. It allows you guys to get mid tower when you otherwise probably wouldn't against a Vel'Koz. Or get like a tier 2 if a fight happens. Yeah, you are so strong. Completed Black Cleaver in red form.
think I backed here for an item. I don't know why I was backing. Oh, just for control words, I
Okay.
guess. Why did I do? Oh, maybe to deal with Jax. I don't know why I was
Yeah,
backing.
yeah, to help top, I think probably. I think in this
Yeah.
kind of a game, yeah, Cleaver Warrior tier 2 boots at 17 minutes is disgusting. Yeah, it is. It's so fucking fed. Um, I think man, what does your team want to do right now? I'm trying to think. So Trinamir wins 1v1 hard. Brett is behind, but with Sorks, Ludens, he actually still does damage. Like he can still,
Yeah.
like if he lands Q onto like almost anyone besides Naught,
They'll
he
still
can
kill
kill
them.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaisa has items, but she's also dying a lot. And Leona's just Leona. So I think what you want to do probably is call for your team to go like 4-1. So like leave Trin in the side lane, and then
Yeah.
like
And then like root
and
mid
like
with
play
Herald.
yeah, play around mid with Herald, and like you don't even have to spawn it right away necessarily. You can kind of wait to see like because if Jax like what he's been doing is he just goes up and he kills the Trinamir with Fiora, and they go like one for
Hmm.
one every time. I think if you see Jax go to side lane, then there's like only maxed of like 3 mid, and you just go. Like you just like Leona R the no cleanse Vel'Koz, and like you can destroy this Vel'Koz, and you could destroy the MF. Like if either one of them is ulted, um, I think it's like really really good for you guys to just 4-1 right now, and
Yeah.
just like call your team to like group up mid with Herald. Because like with the way these lanes are playing out right now, like it's kind of allowing them to like get back into the game.
Hmm.
Trin's like, don't touch my wave.
Yeah, he was pinging me away. I was like, all right, buddy. I'll just drop this here and
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, no, I think Herald here is okay.
I mean, we don't get anything out of it. Like,
Yeah.
they just immediately respond.
Yeah, it's like a fat chunk. It's always hard because like there are times where you'll drop it because you don't see anyone, and then out of fog of war, like 2 or 3 people come, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, see, like Brett like might be behind, but he's not useless. Like he almost killed MF on his own.
He's not useless. True. Yeah, that's actually true. Hubris, I do usually go top lane, and it actually works out fine.
Yeah, Brett the Diamond 2 nutty jungler.
Hey man, ask Bester, dude. My Orn's pretty clean.
Hmm. Okay,
I
so
solo killed Darius at level 2 in lane.
oh, that's nuts. So
Yeah,
I think
Ornn.
I think going for this bot lane fight is good.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Kaisa just died instantly. I think in theory, going for this dragon is a really good idea. I think your team like got caught up because they didn't reset and like prepare for it like you did. Ooh, nice dodge. Oh, 1 health. That's sad.
Yeah.
Because this dragon's really good for your team. Like you have a oh, hello. Dude, you're actually nuts. And then Trin just spins on her. So, right now, I would be spam pinging your team to get the dragon, because I think that's way more important than bot tier 2. Because getting Mountain Dragon here allows you to actually, like, viably go to Baron when Trinimir's splitting bot. So, like if you get this Mountain, you send Trinimir bot, and then you just, like, Lux just hard clears, mid, and then you guys can just, like, walk to Baron, and with double smite and, like, Kaisa with Mountain, like, I think it's just dead. Like, if they ever tried to defend bot, but, like, that's not, like, your macro call to make. It's, like, your surviving teams. But, like, I would just be spam pinging that, because now, I guess they don't get Dragon either. It just lives on. But I think that Dragon allows you guys to really snowball this game. these are just like fights where like somebody on your team is like getting caught out right at the start,
Yeah.
like usually Kaisa, and then it just snowballs into a big fight. Like they're not going like horribly for your team.
No, yeah.
They're going okay. Tryndamere is the main beneficiary. He's getting really fat.
I mean, that's what we want, though.
Exactly,
You know?
yeah. Oh!
That ult.
Oh!
Yeah.
Nice try,
All right,
Leona.
now we go for dragon.
Okay,
for
yeah.
sure.
So getting dragon here is like super good.
Yeah, I botched smite, by the way, because I'm a bad player.
That's okay. So I think right here you just let's see how much gold you have. 10. So you're going for Sterix, and I'm not sure how much Sterix costs, but I think clearing these two probably gets you it. I think that after you clear these camps, you should just reset, and you should just call like Brett and Kaisa to just go mid, and you just like buy pinks, and then you just sweep out all the Baron vision, and you just get
Yeah.
Baron. Because like you guys do it so fast that
Yeah,
like
we got that mountain just now, right?
Exactly.
That was a mountain.
Yeah, it was a mountain. So like you guys just absolutely destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, you have double pinks. Okay.
Hey, thanks, Julia. Appreciate that.
Trent is just popping off.
That was so sad. I was so mad about that when he flashed out of my W.
Yeah.
I W'd him from Foggle, right? I didn't think he'd expect it. Just, you know.
I think you just walked a Baron right now. I'm gonna be honest. Because like you're tanky, Kaisa does so much damage, and Brett has smite and shield for extra tank. Like I think you guys just walked Baron right now, especially because like Fiora has long death timer and like her TP's coming up, but like she has such a long death timer. Vel'Koz has a long death timer. Like I think Brett, I'm about to get PTSD. Yeah. So like the two like biggest people on their team like have pretty long death timers, the Vel'Koz and the Fiora, and like Jax, I guess like I think you just kill Baron before he gets there. Is Brett calling for it? Is that his pings? Yeah, it is.
I don't remember what he was saying because we were in voice chat, but and then he dies.
We forgot that I had smite. Yeah, I think even if you don't have smite, you still can take it.
Oh yeah,
but...
that's right. We did forget that he had smite, but I think I was just worried about how low Jax's death timer was. It was like half of what the other two people's were, and that was still pretty important, I think.
Yeah, I think like when the fight ended, it was at like 20 seconds left. So by the time you get to Baron, he's probably about 15 seconds. And I honestly think a Rage Blade Kaisa with Earth kills it before Jax gets in smite range.
Yeah.
Because yeah, now I think the game isn't over, but it's really hard. Because like this is the classic of like enemy team gets Baron and people just die like one at a time, and then like they get an inhib for no reason because like people don't like group up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're resetting and spending. Okay, yeah, but I probably just guess how this game goes. People get picked off and the game just ends.
You kind of have to concede inhib. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, there's not really that much that you guys can do, besides, like, maybe, like, Brett gets a nice, like, Q snare, and you get, like, a one-shot off that. But, like, when people are just walking in like this, it's just not really... It looked so good for you guys, but I guess it's not.
That
That
was so
sucks.
tragic, yeah. I thought I'd be able to make it through the wall. Because usually if you're like on the other half of the wall, it'll push you out on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like a.
That would have been really nice. Okay. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing about that game is like again, you're micro and like
Mm-hmm.
the way you played the game is like super clean.
Yeah.
And like especially because like it's Kane, like you're really good at Kane, like really practice on him. Like there's no problems with
Mm-hmm.
like how you play Kane. I think like the problem occurs like when you're like trying to make decisions come like the mid and like late game.
Yeah.
Because like your early game pathing and your early game gank and like clearing and all that, like I honestly didn't see like many, if like any, problems at all like
Okay.
with that. Like on the
Thank you.
Sejuani game, you had really creative ganks. On the Kane game, like that 3 clear into a gank that was really good. Like you got the Vel'Koz sums. Like you were like re-ganking lanes that have no flash. Like
Mm-hmm.
all your ganks were pretty good, and you were ganking at like the right times and stuff. I just think like the reason that like these 2 games were lost is like purely through decision making and like
Yeah.
not like realizing like what your team should do and like what you need to do and like how you guys like snowball the lead and kind of like finish what you started in a way, you know? Like you're building
Yeah.
up really nice leads because like you're a good player. But it's like that
Mm-hmm.
kind of like it's like the thought process that's like missing.
It's like, well, what do I do now?
Exactly. And that's the hardest part to learn, you know what I mean? Cuz like
Mm-hmm.
there's no way to like learn it like naturally almost. Like you don't just like
Mm-hmm.
play League of Legends and like just like learn what to do. You have to like watch like pro games. You have to like watch like pro player like solo queue. You have to like get coached. You have to like watch VOD reviews. You have to VOD review yourself. You have to like talk to your friends. Like you have to talk to
Mm-hmm.
people who are like better at the game. Like there's like really like nuanced ways to do it. And I think like as long as you seek those out, like you can actually be a really good player.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, you're welcome, dude. Any final questions or anything?
Uh, we need to get back to Challenger, buddy.
Oh man, it's rough. I'm out here gaining 14 LP, losing
Are you
16.
serious?
Yeah,
I
it's
can't even
okay.
imagine.
It's okay. It was more doomed earlier. I was gaining 12 and losing 18. But
That just means you're fixing your own work, dude. It's fine.
yeah, I'm like 9 and like 4 in my last like 13. So like my MMR is actually half decent. Like I'm getting against like low challengers again. So like it's like maybe it's doable. We'll see. I have got like what 12 days I think. 12 days to get like 100
Mm-hmm.
70 LP. So like yeah, doable.
Yeah,
I'll try and snipe it.
you got it, dude. I believe in you.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything else you want to touch on?
Um, not that I can think of.
All right, man. Well, I
Yeah.
really I really enjoyed, especially that first game, the Scion. I've never seen that strat before.
You've never seen it? Have you heard of it before?
I've heard of like the Inting Tower Scion. I just didn't know people
Yeah.
actually did it.
No, people actually do it. It's a real thing.
That's surprising to me that like people like that exist. But hey, I'm always open to new perspectives, new ways to play the game.
Yeah, man.
Maybe he's cracked the code. I think
He's cracked the code, dude. Season 10, it's gonna be the new meta. Every lane is just
you can
down
go
coming
you
out
can
their
go 2 and
towers.
17 and win the game. That's the kind of
Yeah,
stuff I
it's
like.
he just proved it.
All right, man. Well, if you don't have
Alright.
anything more you want to touch on, we can end this stream here. Anybody in the chat have any questions or anything before I head off for the night? Hello, Mr. Big D. Could you rate my chances to hit Master Tier this season? It's a 100% chance. If I don't see you in Master Tier, you're banned from the Risen stream. Uh, Zenith lol, message right support, have them fix your LP gains. I actually know Mark Merrill, and I'll just text him. But thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. Give me plus 30 minus 5, and I'll be challenger in no time.
I mean, yeah, I feel like anybody would be challenger in no time with that kind of MMR.
Could you imagine? That'd be so nice. That'd be so
Isn't that how
nice.
like how it is when you're smurfing though? Like if you're like leveling, like smurfing on a new account,
Yeah, yeah. I was
that's
playing on
pretty
I
much
was
how it
playing on a
is.
silver Smurf and I was getting like plus 29 minus like 9 or 10 and it was
Yeah.
like it's just yeah, it's so easy. It I wish I had that MMR right now, but it's okay.
Don't we all?
How do you think D4 players hit GM early season? Yeah, dude, I know. You got to take the ladder spots when nobody's on the ladder. All right, boys in the chat. Well, thank you for tuning in, everybody that tuned in.
Don't forget about the girls too, man. Come
Hey,
on.
yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. We're inclusive of everyone here at Risen Esports.
This
Um,
is this is a white knight timey coming in.
seriously though, thank you everybody for tuning in. This was super fun, and I can't wait to do it next week.
It was really
Um,
fun.
I haven't decided on who it is yet. Uh, Probably gonna have another like sign up sheet sent out for people to sign up and like put in like the games they want reviewed and things like that. So stay on the lookout for that if you're interested. Super looking forward to it. Uh, very much looking forward to it next week. It's a ton of fun. Um, yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Have a nice night. Thank you, Timey, for the games.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, all right, peace out, everyone. Have a nice night.
See you.